explain a little bit about wheels, okay? When we sketch wheels for our car sketches in perspective or even in side view. So let's go. So when I have a side view and I put my wheels, I apply, of course, my shadow. And then I have the wheel with its center. In this case, it's our circle, okay? But because this is a one-point perspective, in reality, the center of both wheels, it's a little bit toward this, how can I say, it moves toward the vanishing point that is in this area somewhere here, okay? Let's say it's here. So both centers in reality are here because it is in perspective, okay? So if I have a sketch of a wheel cup decoration or a alloy wheel to make, I don't have to consider this center, but I have to consider this one, this one. So, for example, if my wheel is hollow, that's how I will do my graphics. You see? And according to this center that is simply shifted more toward the center of the car, my graphics, the shapes I draw here, they have different size. They are not exactly the same all over. As you can see, the top one and the left one here, they are really smaller. You see? And when we apply the shading, because there is a light coming from the top here, and there is of course some shadows, this part will be light because coming out picks up the light, and this part on top will be in shadow. And that's what I'm gonna do now. You see? So I increase a little bit the shadow in this area. And you can see that now the section, the real section of this wheel, it's much more understandable. Now we can really understand what's going on. You see, if I make a section here, this is the section of our wheel. It's gonna be like that, then comes inside, comes outside, and then comes down again. And after, of course, we have our tire. Okay, so this is inside view. So here, of course, will be the same thing. Okay, now let's put a little bit of shading so that it looks better. Now, because of this 1 point perspective, okay, what we have to consider also is that this wheel on the other side, it's here because of the perspective. The wheels that are on the back on the other side, they move toward the center, and that's how we get that feeling, of 1 point perspective of depth on our side views. It's really the shadow and the wheels that will give us that feeling. Okay, so this is the first thing, on side view. Now, what happens when we have perspective, 3/4 back, 3/4 front? So if we have a perspective like this, and our wheels are like that, remember that the minor axis of the ellipse goes always to the opposite vanishing point. So this is the side view, the side of our car, okay? The top is here. Windshield. So what happens to the wheel? In this case, as you can see, the back wheel has a smaller ellipse in degrees compared to the front one. In general, the difference between this one and this one is around 15 or 20 degrees, okay? It depends if the car is a long car or it's a normal family size car. So now, what happens to the shadow? The light is always coming from the right top, angle. Well, in this case, the shadow will go like that. We have a little bit of the body of the car that is, transferring its shadow on the ground. So in this view that is very almost the top view, this is the shadow. Okay, so now you already have a feeling of perspective. And when we apply the graphics or the design on our wheel cap or aluminum alloy wheel, once again, this is the geometrical center of the ellipse. But for our wheel, this center is here. And here it's a little bit inside. You see? So there also, there will be the shifting of this wheel center. And now I will make the same graphics I did before. You see? That's a wheel in perspective. Here we don't see much. And here also you don't see much. Now I will apply a little bit of the shading, again, as I did before. And we have our wheel in perspective with all the elements, inside. Of course, here it's gonna be like that. Okay, so now what happens when we are in top view? Okay, now when I talk about top view, I imagine something like this. This is our line for the perspective, okay? And this is our wheel. So it's gonna be an ellipse, okay? The minor axis will go to the vanishing point, okay? So if this is the geometrical center, it will move following, it will be shifted following the direction to the vanishing point. So it's gonna be there. And now I will make what I did before in this perspective. You see? Now, let me put the graphics, the holes. Of course, in this view, we see a lot in this area and we don't see much on top because of the perspective. Here we're starting already to have, the image squeezed, compressed. All right, and now I will apply the shading. Of course, this top part will be in shadow, and this will pick up the light. All right, so now if I sketch a little bit more we will have our shadow going inside, and then we have the rocker panel here and a little bit of its shadow. And let's say this is here the front of the car, okay? The shadow of this will be there, like that. Okay? So I hope that this is clear, because sometimes I see people making mistakes. They do the opposite, and I think that it's important to really understand what's going on with the center of the wheel when we put a car in perspective, or even when we are just in a simple side view. Okay, I hope that this video was useful for you. And if you want, you can share this video with your friends. Maybe some other people would like to become member of my channel. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend, and don't forget that tomorrow, Friday, I will be live on this channel, sketching live, 5 p.m. Friday. Bye bye. Ciao.